Good morning. Welcome to CVR English Business Life. So today we have some real hot news and of course the market status. So before that, let's get on to the headlines. So today when we look into the American markets which closed last night with about small kind of negativity, Dow Jones went and fell about 94 points, and of course the Standard and Poor's 500 also fell by about 8 points, and the Nasdaq also closed at about 32 points kind of losses. So what we are looking at this is right now the Asian indexes, the markets are taking the cues from the American markets. So looking at that, the kind of negativity is still continuing in the Asian markets as well. If we look into the first index, that's the Japanese Nikkei, that's trading about minus 301 points. Yes, that's about 1.4% down. And Hang Seng, we looking at about 146 points losses, trading at about 0.5% lower. And the Shanghai, the Chinese index, is also trading at about minus 15 points. That's again about 0.5%. And the very own SGX Nifty is currently trading at about 5 points gains. That's about 11,337 points. Just in the terms of percentage, 0.04% positivity. So we could say it's trading completely flat because it opened in the negativity in the morning, and right now after a couple of hours of trading in SGX Nifty, it's showing kind of recovery into that kind of a mode. Now coming to the other important headlines, the factory output growth has slipped to the 1.7% in January, which is again terming to be a kind of a slightly negative kind of a news for the markets here. And we could also say whether this could have been discounted in the month of February. So are we getting for a correction in this month of March? So we need to wait and watch for that kind of a scenario to give us a clear picture. Now coming to the other important news, that's the consumer price index called as the retail inflation, marginally higher. That reported numbers were about 2.57% in the month of February. So and the crude oil stayed firm as on yesterday because the Saudis have trimmed exports, and of course the US output also forecast reduce in their kind of output. Now looking at all these kind of mild negative things going on across the world, the most important thing is Brexit. If Brexit gets through, we believe that there would be stability in the markets across the world, and there would also be a bull run which can be expected, because the FTSEs, if you look at the sterling pound, which is waiting for the outcome of the Brexit, it's staying at the mercy of that kind of a final outcome. So we all are in fact the whole world is waiting for that. So before that, coming back to the markets, actually if we talk about the markets as on today, I have my guest Mr. Chirag. He is an analyst who is going to guide you and going to give you some nice intraday stocks which you can think and take action upon. So Chirag, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
So what do you expect, Chirag? Looking at a strong market since Monday and Tuesday, so can we expect the same ride as on today, because the SGX is nifting a flat trade right now?
Well, in the last couple of trading sessions, we have seen that FII fancy stocks like the HDFC Twins, Kotak Bank, ICICI Bank, Reliance, L&T, and all these blue chip stocks have witnessed substantial amount of buying, which have resulted in the markets propelling to higher levels, or somewhere around 11,300 is where we have closed yesterday, and that's above a psychological level in itself. So it's a big positive that we have seen. However, having said this, we should also acknowledge the fact that the markets have been rallying relentlessly for the past 3-4 sessions, and now I think there can be a day where the markets will prefer to cool down a bit and then assume a fresh rally. Now if you look at the Asian markets are trading on a flat to negative note, or mainly on a negative note. The Nikkei is low by more than 1%, clearly indicating that some bit of pessimism is there in the market. And such kind of such kind of declines must be used as buying opportunities. Having said that, as Anil sir just mentioned, that the IIP and the inflation data was out yesterday, this could have a minuscule impact on today's trading, However, global concerns will be having a lot of importance in today's trade.
Okay. Now coming back to the sectoral kind of an outlook for today, the sectoral outlook, positive for both these sectors, then that would be private banks, which would be, remaining, expected to remain about positive today, and of course the auto sector as well. So can we have any names in case if you find them to be positive today, otherwise profit booking can be expected, because private banks and autos have been, literally performing, especially the Eicher Motors.
Well, yes, stocks like Eicher Motors will witness, positive momentum. Having said that, there can be a small bit of, profit taking from higher levels, but those profit taking declines must be used as buying opportunity. Now, coming to the broader picture as far as auto, the auto segment is concerned, what the kind of data that has been coming from China is slightly negative, because the auto sales have been trading at, they've been coming in at 14-month lows. Now, and as far as auto segment is concerned, it gives you a very clear indication about the consumer spending. Now, if the auto sales numbers are reducing, month on month, quarter on quarter, it is a clear indication that people are not willing to spend, and this could have a negative impact as far as the overall auto segment is concerned, but there can be selective buying bets amongst these auto stocks. Eicher Motors is one of them. Now, coming to private sector banks, you can look at IndusInd Bank, witnessed a sharp rally yesterday. A good amount of buying was seen in this. ICICI Bank is another one which is looking good on charts buy. You can go along with the 2% stop loss for 3 to 4% still upside.
Okay. So looking at this market momentum, as Bank Nifty has touched the 52-week highs, so can we expect the same rally to continue today, Chirag?
Well, yes, Bank Nifty has hit a lifetime high, not a 52-week high, lifetime high, and it has been sustaining around those levels. Now, whenever there is a breakout on the upside, say whenever a stock or an index tries to move above the previous high or tries to move into the uncharted territory, there is a huge potential for the stock or the index to rally at least 3-4% from those levels minimum. So don't be surprised if there is a small decline in Bank Nifty today or for the next couple of sessions. But if you look at the overall trend, it is on the positive side, and the Bank Nifty has been outperforming the Nifty, hence it has made a fresh lifetime high before the Nifty makes another one.
Okay. So the pre-open market suggests that markets, likely to open Nifty 50 at about, they have closed, pre-open markets have closed right now, and they are, gains, closed with a gains of about 25 points in Nifty 50 at about 11,326. So looking at the cues from the pre-open market, they are rather, pre-open market, not the normal market opening. So can we expect a kind of a normal market opening or a gap up, or if that happens, will they sustain?
Well, the pre-market, trades have been, they are currently settled at 11,326.20 as far as the Nifty is concerned. Now, it will be very important for us to see if the Nifty continues the kind of momentum it has been witnessing over the past couple of sessions. And if that happens, then we are likely to head towards another psychological level on the upside, that is 11,400, 11,500. Now, if you look at the overall chart pattern of Nifty, even that is trying to break out above, earlier resistances from where it had fallen significantly. Now, if you look at Nifty, it has closed at its highest session in highest, level in as many as more than 115 trading sessions, clearly indicating that the kind of positive momentum that is coming in the markets is here to stay for some time before the rally cools down. In case there is a decline in today's trade, we would still recommend you to go long.
Okay. Well, there is kind of market, news doing the rounds in the market that L&T is trying to take a hostile takeover of Mindtree. So, what would be the effect in case if this becomes true for Mindtree? Very importantly, because Mindtree has been a mid-cap and at the same time a strong high beta stock. So, what could be the kind of nature of the stock? The fate of the stock, I would rather ask. Like what would be happening in that case, that thing happens?
See, whenever a stronger company tries to buy another company, not that Mindtree is a weak one, Mindtree is also having good quality and it is a blue chip in itself as far as the mid-cap IT space is concerned. Now, what will probably happen to Mindtree is it will witness a lot of buying momentum or it will witness a bump up at least initially, because it is going into the strong hands. And we all know the quality of L&T that has been there for decades now. So it is going to be a long-term positive for Mindtree, for shareholders of Mindtree. And I would still recommend you to accumulate the stock on every decline.
All right. Well, looking into the MCX futures market, the markets have giving a strong positive indication that crude oil is trading at 3,984 and with about 14 points gain, 14 rupees. Silver trading at about 38,804 at about 115 rupees gains. Gold currently trading at about 32,161 and gains about 161 rupees. So would there be any kind of impact because the commodities are straining, getting strong gains? Would there be any portfolio churning, or what kind of outlook you can give for the commodity markets?
Well, as far as crude oil is concerned, it is still trading around the resistance level of, I will just tell it in dollar terms because I'm tracking it in dollar terms. So there is a stiff resistance around 67.50 to 68, to $68. So clearly indicating that until those highs of $68 or 68.20 is not taken out, it will not be very prudent to say that that the oil commodity is likely to move much higher. It can witness selling pressure if those highs are not broken. Whereas on the downside, it will start a new bearish trend if it breaks below 64.80 levels. Now coming to gold, gold has been witnessing a mixed kind of a trading zone over the last 4-5 trading sessions. We saw that after the Women's Day, the commodity witnessed good amount of buying. After that, it witnessed some bit of selling, and again in today's session, it is showing a lot of promise on the upside. So, as far as gold is concerned, gold futures, you can see some bit of resistance coming through somewhere around 32,300, 32,350. Currently, it is trading around 32,185. So, there is some bit of room for the commodity to move on the upside. Having said that, there is a resistance around 32,300.
Okay. Well, viewers, right now what we are looking at is the provisional figures of the FIIs and DIIs. Very importantly, the figures right now, they are actually indicating that FIIs turned net buyers since 8th of March till the 12th of March, and the DIIs have been turned net sellers. If we look into the figures in depth, like on the 8th of March, FIIs bought about 1,000 plus crores, and on the 11th of March 3,800 plus crores, and on the 12th of March they were again net buyers to the tune of 2,478 crores. And coming back to the DII figures, which remain negative, that's 471 crores worth of selling was done on the 8th. On the 11th, it's 1,956 worth kind of crores were sold. And again on the 12th, that was as on yesterday, that's 990 crores was sold. So what does this indicate? Like there's a fight between the bulls and the bears, or the FIIs and DIIs?
Well, the FIIs and DIIs usually set the trend for the markets. Now, whenever the FIIs are buying on a stronger note, it is the DIIs who try to take a back seat, and then they try to book their profits, because it is the DIIs which start buying whenever the markets are falling, and FIIs are the ones who pull the markets in a big way. So if you look at the data, I have some data in front of you. So the total cash buying as far as the FIIs are concerned has come in at 13,300 plus crores as far as the from 1st to 12th of March. Now this is a very positive sign in itself. They have pumped in a lot of money, at least only in the first few days of this quarter. Of this series. So we are expecting good momentum to come through in stocks like ICICI Bank, State Bank of India, Ashok Leyland, PNB, Axis Bank, Reliance, Bharti Airtel, M&M, and L&T Finance. Now these are the stocks which have witnessed a lot of long built up as far as the number of shares purchased is concerned. So these are stocks which you should watch out for.
All right. Now viewers, the markets have already opened about 2 minutes ago, and right now we are looking at the index trading at about very flat, about 4 points plus, 11,306, and the stocks in the Nifty 50 are the top losers. If we look into, that's IOC minus 3%, trading at 149.55. ONGC trading with losses of about 2.8% at 147.60. And the third top loser is Coal India, minus 1.3%. That's 239.80 paisa. And the last but not the least, that's top fifth loser is Z Group, which is losing about 1%, for trading at 459.55 paisa. So looking at this, the kind of indications towards in negativity is slightly higher, because the top 5 gainers, if we look into, they all are below 1% gainers. That's Infratel, Sun Pharma, Hindalco, Wipro, and of course Eicher Motors as well. So currently, looking at the opening of the market, there are a lot of stocks still getting lower right now, more than 3% at the current moment. So what one needs to do in the marketing opening?
Well, I would just like to highlight the first observation that I have as far as the chart of the Nifty is concerned. It is still very early to comment on this, but I would still like the viewers to listen to this, because the open and high for the Nifty is capped until now at 11,326.20, which is around 30 points from current levels. Now, if the markets do not, or if the Nifty doesn't cross above that level, then we might as well see some bit of selling pressure come through in today's session. Having said this, if that level is taken out, another 50 to 70 point of an up move cannot be ruled out. Now, coming to stocks, as far as the Nifty pack is concerned, one can definitely look at accumulating Infratel and Eicher Motors. They are the preferred bets as far as the Nifty stocks are concerned. There is another one, that is IndusInd Bank, which is looking good. You can buy it with a stop loss of 1509 for upside targets of 1620, 1635. The other mid caps that I have as my preferred bets are Apollo Tyre and Bata India. On the long side, you can buy with a stop loss of 219 for Apollo Tyre and Bata India with a stop loss of 1313 for upside targets of 1415.
Okay, so in fact there are stocks which have a different kind of made some different vibes yesterday. In case, as Chirag said, that if the Nifty is away from the highs what it created today, it's about 30 points approximately, Nifty index. If that really happens, like in case if the selling continues today, like there were some good stocks which remained as strong gainers in the BSE 500 yesterday. Those names would be Bombay Dyeing, which closed about 12% higher just yesterday. That means would it be a good opportunity to look into such kind of mid cap gainers which remained as strong yesterday, in case if the market corrects today? So could you suggest any kind of a mid cap name, as for example Bombay Dyeing? You have Escorts in fact right now, gained about 8% yesterday. So can that be a buy today?
At least not in the first half an hour. We will like to see how the markets behave in the first half an hour. Bombay Dyeing witnessed a substantial up move in yesterday's session, closed at its at a highest level in as many as after October 2018. After the first half of October 2018, it has given a positive up move, and it has closed at somewhere around 129.45 levels. Now the stock, after moving to its highest level in a lot of time, clearly gives you an indication that strong hands are buying the stock, and that is why the stock is moving higher. But this doesn't mean that you go outright and start buying the stock. I would suggest traders to wait for a decline towards 125, 126, and then go long in this counter with the stop loss placed below 115 for upside targets of 140 to 150. Currently it is trading at around 128.10 levels.
Okay. Delta Corp is a company which is in news because they have acquired 25% stake in Jalesh Cruises for about $10 million, because Delta is going to manage the casino operations for a fixed payment to Jalesh Cruises. And there's one more news from Delta Corp. The other strategic investment with the acquisition of about 15.52% stake in Hala Play, a fantasy sports platform, for about $155 million. So what this would mean to Delta Corp stock in the coming years? Would it be getting into a bull zone or a bear zone, or just forget about it? What do you suggest?
Well, these news, the two newses that you have just given have already factored into the price of the stock. The stock has started rallying from 220 odd levels to 260, which is a good 30% up move from the lower levels, and it is now witnessing some kind of profit taking now that the news is out. So this is a normal phenomenon as far as the markets are concerned. People buy the rumor and they sell the news, And as far as Delta Corp is concerned, it is making a lower top, lower bottom formation in today's session, and it is clearly indicating that the decline towards 245 or 240 is possible over the next couple of sessions if the buying doesn't resume in this counter. Hence, I would recommend you to avoid this counter for the time being. For a long term, of course, it is a buy because strategic acquisitions are usually made with an intention to make profits in the long term. Hence, it's a long-term buy, but as far as the short-term trade is concerned, just wait for the stock to decline towards 240.
All right. So, coming to the oil news, actually, it's been already discounted in the market. Like, oil firms, as Saudi, trims their exports, and U.S. output forecast was also reduced. Now, looking into the rupee has becoming, bullish when compared to the U.S. dollar. So rupee remains, still, kind of stronger right now. That means, if rupee, becomes even more stronger, that means more inflows, because the FIIs have been net buyers in the sense, along with the provision figures what we have seen today. So if that goes, like, rupee may further, become even more stronger in the month of, just not in the month of March series, but also probably before the election date of 11th of April, there might be continuous inflows. So what do you, suggest right now looking at the rupee versus the US dollar?
Well, as far as the USD INR is concerned, the crucial level on the downside that I would be looking at is 69.45 or 69.30 to be precise. Now, if that level is not held, then it is likely to fall lower towards say even 68. But if it takes support around those levels, then there can be a rally towards 71 as well. So it's a mixed bag for the USD INR, at least for the time being. It is at a crucial level. Today's closing or tomorrow's closing will be very important for this currency pair.
All right. So viewers, investors do have good news. We could say, like, there are IPOs which are going to hit the market in this month. So that's going to be with, starting with 2 company names. Of course, I would also ask my analyst to just name them, if you have a name, because I believe there's one name which is already doing the rounds, and they might come out with an IPO in the month of March.
Yes, there is one company called MSTC Limited. It is a Government of India undertaking. So this is one company which is coming out with its IPO. It usually deals with scrap products, is what I know prima facie. I need to look into the details of this. As far as the name is concerned, it is MSTC Limited. The other one is still unknown to me as of now.
All right. So if we look into the MSTC IPO details, the price band is around 121 to 128. Discount to retail shareholders would be around 5.5 rupees per share. The issue date is going to be 13th to the 15th of March, and post-issue market cap would be around about 9 billion rupees. They offer entirely an offer for sale up to about 2.26 billion rupees, we could term it as. So this is the right now, in fact, the IPO is on, so one can think of going ahead on this. So that's the update from the markets, viewers. So as on today, trade with, of course, a stop loss. Markets would remain highly volatile as on today. So trade with good stop losses. Happy trading day. Thank you very much for watching the show. See you tomorrow morning at 9.